Hello everyone. Today I, Anushri Pandey, from the Department of Buddhist Studies of University of Delhi, will be discussing with you all on module number 32 of paper number 12, Philosophy of Buddhism 1. This module deals with Nagarjuna's Mool Madhyamik Karika. So, after going through this module, we will be able to understand about the introduction of the Madhyamika school, the metaphysics of the school, the basic principle of the Madhyamika school, and also the dialectic and the dialectical method given by Nagarjuna. So let's begin this module. So as we all know, Gautam Buddha was the founder of Buddhism. After Buddha's enlightenment, which is also known as Mahaparinirvana, Buddhism got divided into two schools. They were Heenan and Mahayana. The followers of Heenan are mostly from the south, because of which this school is also known as the Southern Buddhism. This school is an orthodox sect or school of Buddhism. They follow the teaching of Buddha as it is without any kind of change. The literature of this school is vast and it is written in Pali language. Whereas the other school, which is Mahayana, is mostly spread in the Northern Asian countries, because of which it is also known as Northern Buddhism. Mahayana is not as orthodox as the Heenana school. Most of the literature of Mahayana was written in Sanskrit language, which later got translated into Tibetan, Chinese, and other Northern Asian countries' language. The school of Mahayana and Heenan are further divided. Under Mahayana, there are two schools. That is, number one, Madhyamika or Shunyavadi. In this school, philosophers are known as nihilist. Next school under the Mahayana is known as Yogacara or Vigyanvadi. In this school, the philosophers are known as subjective idealist. Then comes the Heenana. Heenana is also divided into two schools. The first one is Sautantrika. They are also known as Bahyu Anumanvadi. The philosophers of this school are critical realists. They are representationists. Then comes Vaibhashika, the other school of the Heenana. They are also known as Bahya Pratyakshvadi. And the philosophers of these schools are known as direct realist. So, we saw that Madhyamika school comes under the Mahayana sect. So, now let's discuss the basic principle and the founder of the Madhyamika school. The school of Madhyamika was started by Nagarjuna around 2nd century AD. According to the school, reality cannot be described. It is away from all the category of intellect. Therefore, reality can neither be called Shunya or Ashunya or both or neither. It was this theory which developed the concept of Shunyavad in Madhyamika. Shunyavad is most important part of this school. It was also mentioned in Mahayana Shastra of Ashvaghosha. Nagarjuna is said to be the founder and the first systematic expertise in the Shunyavad by his famous work Madhyamika Karika. Nagarjuna is said to be a strict follower of the middle path because of which this school is also known as the Madhyamika, the middle path which was shown by Buddha. Nagarjuna is a very strict follower. He completely blindly follows the middle path which was shown by Buddha, because of which this school is known as Madhyamika. So this school has two names. First is Madhyamika and second comes Shunyavada. Nagarjuna follows the middle way which was shown by Buddha because it ignores the two extreme, which leads to error. Extreme of existence and extreme of non-existence. One becomes affirmation, other becomes negation, and so on. So to avoid these two extreme sides of reality, Nagarjuna only follows the middle path to avoid these two extremes. Madhyamika, therefore, means middle way. It is a Sanskrit word. Many scholars believe that it is the meaning of the school is Shunya, and they ignore all the real and logical meaning which was shown with the help of Shunyavada. So they call this school as skepticism or nihilism. But this is completely a wrong view. According to Madhyamika, the word Shunya does not mean nothing or an empty void, which was misinterpreted by other scholars of other philosophical school or the Western scholars. Etymologically, the word Shunya is derived from the word Svi, which means to swell or to expand. Ontologically, the word Shunya is the void, which is also fullness, because it has nothing in particular, but it has possibility of everything. According to Nagarjuna, Shunya is the experience that cannot be shared with anyone. One has to experience himself, this Shunya, and which is not affected by any empirical mind. So in other words, one cannot express this Shunya in words. It is non-dual, which means one. Nagarjuna then gives two forms of reality, which is the empirical reality and the ultimate reality. Ultimate reality is also known as Samvritti Satya in Sanskrit, and the ultimate reality is known as Paramarth Satya. According to the empirical truth, for an ordinary person, it is the truth by which an ordinary person can reach to the ultimate truth. So the empirical truth is for the ordinary person. It is by which a person can lead to the ultimate truth. According to Nagarjuna, the ultimate truth cannot be realized without the help of the empirical truth. So the realization of empirical truth first is necessary in order to have the knowledge about the ultimate truth. which is also known as nirvana. So, without realizing this, one cannot achieve the stage of nirvana. So, these two truths becomes the means of liberation. According to Nagarjuna, the word Shunya must be understood from these two forms of reality. According to empirical reality, word Shunya means Swabhava Shunya, that is, devoid of Swabhav or substantial reality of its own and which is not dependent. There is not single thing in this world which is not completely real. Everything in this world are related to or dependent to some other things. Everything in this world are not completely real. They are in the sphere of relativity. Hence, here comes the doctrine of dependent origination, which is also known as Pratitya Samutpad. So, Pratitya Samutpad becomes equal to Shunyata or relativity of a thing by itself and not by other. According to the ultimate reality, Shunya or Shunyata is free from all the kind of construction. It is free from plurality. It cannot be expressed in any kind of human language. So, in this way, for the Madhyamika school, Shunyata is the symbol of inexpressible. Shunyata is not a theory. In fact, Madhyamika uses dialectic to criticize the theories given by others without putting its own theory. By using dialectic, Nagarjuna concludes that all the dharma are shunya or niswabhava shunya, which means it is devoid of any independent substantial reality. It may be thought that Shunya itself is a theory, but this is not the case. Shunya is one's awareness to the realize of the truth. According to Nagarjuna, Shunya is not a simple theory just for the sake of Shunyata. So, these are the basic ideas of the school of Madhyamika, which was founded by Nagarjuna. So, let's see more work of Nagarjuna in this module. Now, let's begin with the dialectic given by the Nagarjuna. Now comes the dialectical method of Nagarjuna. The main contribution of Nagarjuna in the Madhyamika philosophy was the dialectical method, which is also known as Prasanga method. This is an authentic contribution by Nagarjuna. This method was originated or developed when Nagarjuna got confused on the mysterious silence of Buddha on some basic metaphysical question. He tried to find the main reason behind this silence of Buddha. He deeply pondered about this and realized, was Buddha agnostic as it was believed by other Western or European philosophers, or was not agnostic? But the question can arise that if Buddha was not agnostic, then why he maintained silence to these questions? So to answer this question, that is to find the reason behind the silence of the Buddha, Nagarjuna developed the dialectical method. Buddha maintained silence on some metaphysical questions which were related to, like, is the world beginning or beginningless, or is it finite or infinite, or so on. So these were the questions which was asked by Buddha, and he maintained silence. Buddha states that all these questions was avyakarta. That means the answer to this question cannot be expressed in words. In Madhyamika school only, a famous philosopher named Chandrakirti stated the 14 questions which was declared by Buddha as inexpressible. These questions were like as follows. The first one was whether the world is eternal. Second, not eternal. Third, both eternal or not eternal. Fourth, neither eternal nor not eternal. Fifth question, whether this world is finite. Sixth, whether the world is infinite. Seventh, whether it is both finite or infinite. Eighth, whether it is neither infinite nor finite. Ninth comes whether the Tathagat exists after death. 10th, whether it does not exist. 11th, it both exists and does not exist. 12th, it neither exists nor does not exist. 13th, whether the soul is identical with the body. And 14, whether the soul is not identical with the body. So we saw there are 4 sets of alternatives in every question. This forms the basis of Chatuskoti of Nagarjuna's dialectic, in which there were options like, first one was a positive option. Next comes the negative option. Then the third option is the conjunction of the first two, which means the conjunction of the positive option and the negative option. And comes the fourth option. The fourth option is disjunctive denial of the first two, which means disjunctive denial of the positive option and the negative option. So these are the 4 alternatives which was given in every question, which forms also the Chatuskoti of the dialectic. Nagarjuna had before him the forms of these questions on which Buddha maintained silence and rejected replying any of this categorical answer to this question. It is because Buddha does not believe in the extreme affirmation and the extreme negation. He was the follower of Madhya Pada. I repeat, Madhyama Pratipada, which means the middle path. So, Buddha also never accepted any 2 extreme forms of reality. which was positive and negative side. He was the follower of the middle path. And so the founder of the school, which is Nagarjuna, is also the blind follower of this path which was shown by the Buddha. This path can be taken similar to the Aristotle concept of golden mean, in which he also says one to follow the middle path and avoiding two extremes. So this was because of which Madhyamika name was given to this school. Nagarjuna deeply wondered over this behavior of Buddha and come to conclusion that Buddha maintained silence regarding this metaphysical question because he believed that reality is away or it is out of reach of thought. Reality is beyond our reach. One cannot express it in normal human language, because of which he maintained completely silence in the 14 metaphysical question which was asked by him. This contribution of Nagarjuna is the main contribution in the Madhyamika philosophy, that is the theory of dialectic, which indicates 4 kinds of alternative to every kind of the theories, by which this dialectic, with the help of this dialectic, Nagarjuna also rejected various theories. Now let's see the purpose of this dialectic. Nagarjuna has used this dialectical method against all those theory which was made or maintained by dogmatists during his time about the reality. He tried to expose the hollowness in their logic and the self-contradictory result which was assumpted to disapprove. So his aim was to show the problems in all these theories which was given by the other philosophers and how it leads to problem. Nagarjuna tried to disapprove each and every philosophical theory which was present during his time, because he had a definite purpose and goal. In negative manner, reality cannot be expressed by any discursive thought, and in positive manner it is dialectic, which means the phenomena of the empirical reality is completely the realm of relativity. That means every entity is shunya. It is devoid of any independent reality or unconsciousness or unconditioned. Whereas in positive manner it is dialectic, which means the phenomena of the empirical reality is the realm of relativity, in which an entity is shunya, which is devoid of any kind of independent reality or unconditionedness. Reality can be understood only by a rising plane higher to the logical thought, the plane of pragyan or knowledge. Reality cannot be expressed in terms of is not. This is a dogmatic thought. So Nagarjuna says reality cannot be expressed in is or is not, which are the two extreme sides. Nagarjuna criticized the theory of others with the help of dialectic, but he never made his own theory. Therefore, according to him, he believes that a person cannot find any mistakes in Madhyamika. It is because he himself never presented his own theory. He has only rejected the theories given by others. So, if he is not giving any views of his own, so how anyone can find any kind of problem in this philosophy? Now comes the application of the dialectic. Nagarjuna rigorously criticizes and examines all the philosophical theories which was held by different scholars of different philosophical school. He uses his method of dialectic against the theories such as causality, motion and rest, the ayatans, the skandhas, the atmas, and so on. He firstly and mostly focuses on the denial of the theory of causality, which was the central point of problem during his time. He stated that there are four views of causality. They were number 1, Swata Utpat, which means theory of self-becoming. Then comes Prata Utpat, which means the production from another. The third comes Dvabhayam Utpat, that is production from both and from another. That means both from itself and from another. The fourth comes Ahetu Utpatti, which means production without cause, production which means by a chance. In Swata Utpatti, Nagarjuna says that this theory was held by the Sankhya school of philosophy. According to this theory, an effect is not a new creation, it is already present in the cause, which is also known as Satkaryavada. So Nagarjuna says that if an effect pre-exists in the cause, then there would be no served purpose behind this reproduction. Therefore, effect does not pre-exist in the cause. Under Prata Utpat, which holds the theory by the Hinayana. According to this theory, effect is a new creation. It does not exist in any cause. This is also known as Asatkaryavad. So Nagarjuna criticized this, saying that if cause and effect are not identical, in other words, if effect does not exist already in cause, which means it is different from the cause, there can be no relation between these two. So, if there can be no relation between cause and effect, then how effect can be produced? So, this is how he rejected the theory of Prata Utpatti. Then, against Dvabhayam Utpat, Nagarjuna says that effect cannot be similar as well as dissimilar to the cause in the same time, because it creates the problem of self-contradiction. In one hand, it has been saying it is same to the cause, and in the other hand, it is saying it is dissimilar. So, there is a contradiction between these two views. And this is how Nagarjuna rejected the Dvabhayam Utpatti. Then comes the last part of this causality, the last kind of it, which means Ahetu Utpatti. This theory is held by a naturalist. According to this, things which are produced are naturally or by a chance. According to this, Nagarjuna says that if we say an effect neither had any cause and it is just a natural effect, then it has an absence of any kind of reason. It is completely dogmatic. There is no reason in this. So he also declined this point, this kind of causality. So we saw in Swata Utpatti, he says that effect cannot pre-exist in cause, so it creates problem. In Prata Utpatti, he says that if effect has no connection with the cause, then again its production gives rise to problem. Then in the third form, he says that the effect cannot be similar as well as dissimilar to the cause, which was the Dvabhayam Utpatti. And finally, he says in the last part or the last kind of causality, that was Ahetu Utpatti, that a thing cannot come into existence or by a chance or by a natural way, because this theory actually lacks some kinds of reason. So again, there's a problem in this. So in this way, Nagarjuna says this all theories are not completely perfect. They all have certain problems, and this is how he rejected the theory of causality. In the similar way, he also denied other theories which was present before him during that time. So this was all about the Madhyamika, the Mool Madhyamikarika given by the Nagarjuna. Here in this module we saw how Madhyamika was formed, how Nagarjuna gave his main contribution to this school, which was the dialectic, why the school is known as Shunyavad, and why it is known as Madhyamika. We also saw the different type of the dialectic given by the Nagarjuna, the four kinds of alternatives which was given by him, and how he used this dialectic in order to criticize the theories which was given by others during that time. So this is all about in this module. Thank you.